Hello everybody, my name is Wilder, and today I'm going to be talking about Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield, and Pokemon Gun. What? Gun's not a thing? But it was everywhere. What? But it's green like Grookey. Not the gun. What do you mean? Okay, but in all seriousness, Pokemon Gun was a pretty funny joke. I'm talking about Pokemon Sword and Shield today. Generation 8 was announced in a special Pokemon Direct recently, and it got everybody talking. Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield are the versions that we will have coming to the Switch. And while we were shown quite a bit from the Pokemon Direct, we weren't actually shown a whole lot. We did get to see the new starters, which the internet has been fighting over. I'm Team Scorbunny, by the way. I really don't care if he's firefighting, like almost every fire starter. I just really think he's cute, and I like him. And plus, I always go fire. I've gone fire since I was a kid. I love fire. Anyway, although we did get to see quite a bit, and we got to see how pretty this game looks, we didn't get to actually see a whole lot. It was just a quick reveal. So, I thought today we'd talk about what I am hoping for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So other than the 3 starters, which I actually think look pretty good, we didn't get to see any of the new Pokemon from this generation. The first thing I have on my list, the top of my list, is that I really hope that these new Pokemon are going to be interesting, and they're going to look good compared to Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon, in my opinion, had very boring Pokemon. Very boring, very bland, not interesting. I barely wanted to use any of them. I mean, I had to stop myself from having a party of 5 Pokemon from previous generations, and then my Alolan starter. I feel like the Alolan starters were really cool, and then every other Pokemon was just kind of forgettable, which is what I'm really hoping will not happen with this generation. I really hope that the Galar region Pokedex is going to be filled with really cool and interesting Pokemon. Now, kind of staying on the same topic, the only Pokemon we actually did get to see other than the starters were a lot of Pokemon from previous generations. I'm okay with having Pokemon in that are from previous generations. I loved X and Y. Pokemon Y may be my favorite Pokemon game. It's either that or Emerald. And I loved the fact that there were previous gen Pokemon in Pokemon X and Y. I didn't mind it at all, but I learned that it can be quite overdone from Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon had a lot of Pokemon from previous generations. Some of this had to do with the Alolan forms, but there were just so many Pokemon from previous generations. And like I said, I was not interested in the Pokemon in the Alolan region. They're uninteresting to me. So I actually, like I said, had to stop myself from using so many Pokemon from previous generations because I knew them well. They're way more interesting than the Alolan Pokemon. I really do hope that the Galar region does not have too many Pokemon from previous generations and has a lot of interesting Pokemon from its own region that we can see. Kind of like how Black and White did it. In Pokemon Black and White, you only had Pokemon from the Unova region until the post-game. And then in the post-game, you had a bunch of Pokemon from previous generations to play around. It was kind of like your reward to beating the game. That would be a really cool thing to bring to Sword and Shield. I just don't want the old Pokemon that we already know and love to overshadow the new Pokemon that come in. I don't know, it's not exciting to me when that happens. However, something I would like to come back from Sun and Moon is a mechanic that works like the Pokeride. The Pokeride, for those of you who don't know or don't remember, removed HMs entirely from the series and made it so that you had a device on you that could call up Pokemon. These Pokemon removed HMs and made it super convenient to do puzzles in dungeons or in the field. I know they won't bring HMs back because there's been so much complaining about them, and honestly, they weren't a very good design choice. So I do hope that whatever they replace it with this time around is as convenient as the Pokeride. Next on my list is, again, a personal opinion, but I really want a more engaging story in this game. Sun and Moon specifically had a very big story. The game focused a lot on the story, the characters, the development, but it didn't really focus on the journey so much. It more felt like the story was trying to overshadow your personal journey. And the reason that sucked so much is because, in my opinion, the story was boring. I did not get into Pokemon Sun and Moon's story at all. In fact, I forgot a lot of details about it. The only things I remember are the key points because they're the key points of that story. I don't think that the story was very engaging. I think that the Pokemon series has done better than Sun and Moon in the past, and I really hope that they can do better than it in the future. Specifically for Sword and Shield, I want to see a very engaging story. I want to feel like I'm against the world, and I want to fight the odds. I really do. Speaking of the story, Sun and Moon had a lot of cutscenes. Oh my gosh, a lot of cutscenes. I don't know if anyone remembers, or if you were on Twitter at the time, if you were one of the people complaining about it, but if you went to Twitter when Sun and Moon came out, there were a lot of people complaining about the first 1 to 3 hours of the game where there was nothing but cutscene after cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. You could not move anywhere. It was like a cutscene every 5 minutes. You couldn't move at all without someone stopping and talking to you and pulling you into a cutscene. It wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun start to Sun and Moon. And in fact, that made Sun and Moon's replayability go way down. Because if I were to replay Sun and Moon today, I don't think I could make it that far into the game. I'd probably give up. The story is just not compelling enough to have that many cutscenes. I just hope that this Pokemon game doesn't make me wish that I was playing a super linear one like Red and Blue. Sun and Moon definitely made me wish that I was playing a super linear Pokemon game. I love stories, I love cutscenes, but you have to know when too much is too much. You have to know your audience, you have to know your genre. Pokemon works with stories, not cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. What Pokemon games have proven to do quite well in the past, and what I hope we see in Sword and Shield, is really good post-game content. Pokemon games in the past have had quite a bit of post-game content, and it was super fun. And that's the whole point of Pokemon, is it's supposed to be fun. It's fun, the battles are fun, the Pokemon are cute, the characters are cool, and I want to have fun. I don't want to climb the stairs to the Elite Four and think, man, maybe I shouldn't do this right now because it's going to end this game. I don't want this game to end. I want to climb the stairs to the Elite Four and say, you know what? I'm going to get past all of you because I am the best Pokemon trainer here, and then I'm going to go do some fun post-game stuff. The post-game is very important to Pokemon, and I do believe that. Pokemon Black and White proved that the post-game of a Pokemon game can add a lot of new and exciting things. And the post-game from a lot of recent Pokemon games have proven that you can extend upon the story. You can introduce new story. I really do have a lot of high hopes for the post-game in Sword and Shield, and I really do hope they deliver on that. Now the last two things on my list are more just kind of mechanical things. First of all, I really want Pro Controller support. Pokemon Let's Go didn't, and I understand that it's because of the battle system and that it most 100% likely will not be in Sword and Shield, but just in case, I want my Pro Controller support. I want a better way to play in TV mode other than having to awkwardly hold one Joy-Con for everything. But what I also want, which I actually want from Pokemon Let's Go, is I wouldn't mind having the Go Park come back in some way. The Go Park was a really interesting and fun idea. It was a nice way to complete your Pokedex, it was a nice way to get cool Pokemon. It was also just really fun. I really liked it. It also got a lot of people playing Pokemon Go again, which is always fun, and I think it was actually a really cool addition to Let's Go. Now, Let's Go obviously was meant to be played with Pokemon Go, so maybe we won't see that come back, but if we did, I wouldn't mind. I just don't know if it would have a place. Anyway, there is my list of what I'm hoping for from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now that you know what I'm hoping for, what are you hoping for from Gen 8? Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.